If police ask you about guns, one bad answer can turn a calm stop into a criminal case. And the scary part is, most people talk themselves into trouble without even knowing it. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed? Because what I'm about to reveal could save you from life-changing legal trouble. Hit that button now, because laws move fast, and silence is only useful if you know how to use it the right way. Here are the 5 words. I want a lawyer now. That's it. 5 simple words. Not a speech, not a debate, not a long explanation about your rights. Just, I want a lawyer now. Now let me explain why those 5 words matter so much. A lot of good people think the smartest move is to clear things up. They think if they just explain enough, the officer will see they did nothing wrong. But here's what really happens. The more you talk, the more details you give. The more details you give, the more chances there are for confusion, mistakes, or statements that can be used against you later. Imagine you're at a traffic stop. The officer walks up and says, "Any weapons in the car?" Your heart starts pounding. Maybe you do have a firearm. Maybe it's legal. Maybe you have a permit. Maybe it's locked in the trunk. Maybe your state requires you to disclose it, and maybe it doesn't. This is where people panic and start rambling. They say things like, "Well, yeah, but it's my cousin's," or "I forgot it was in there," or "I was just moving it," or "I didn't think it mattered." That is where trouble starts. Most people think the danger is the gun itself, but very often the bigger danger is the statement you make about the gun. Because later, that statement gets picked apart. Were you carrying or transporting? Did you know it was there or not? Was it loaded? Were you going somewhere legal? Did your story change even a little? That is why the smartest move is not to freestyle your way through a police interview on the side of the road. Let me be clear here. Saying, "I want a lawyer now," does not mean you fight, argue, or refuse lawful commands. You still keep your hands visible, you stay calm, you do not reach for anything, you follow safety instructions. If your state requires you to provide identification, permit information, or immediate notice that you are carrying, you follow that law. But you do not keep answering questions beyond what the law requires. That difference is huge. Here's what just happened in thousands of real encounters across this country. A person was not arrested because of some dramatic Hollywood moment. They got in trouble because they started explaining. They tried to sound innocent. They tried to sound cooperative. And instead, they gave the government a timeline, a motive, and a set of words to replay later. Now this is where it gets interesting. A lot of people say, if I ask for a lawyer, won't I look guilty? Maybe. But looking guilty and proving guilt are not the same thing. Police are allowed to suspect things. That is their job. Your job is to protect yourself. And protecting yourself starts with understanding that an officer is gathering information. You are not in a friendly chat. You are in a fact collection moment. Every word matters. Here's the part nobody talks about. Silence by itself can get messy if you do it wrong. Some people just stop talking. Some mumble. Some shrug. Some say, "I don't know if I should answer that." That can create confusion. It can even lead to more pressure. Clear words work better. Simple words work better. I want a lawyer now. That tells everyone exactly where you stand. And there's another reason these 5 words matter. Stress makes people say dumb things. Good people, honest people, trained people, military veterans, permit holders, hunters, competitive shooters, doesn't matter. When adrenaline hits, memory gets messy. You may guess instead of remember. You may agree with an officer just to calm the moment down. You may say probably when you should say nothing at all. And later, that probably becomes a key line in a report. Don't make that mistake. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video about the biggest mistakes gun owners make during police encounters. Subscribe so you don't miss it, because one small sentence at the wrong time can create a huge problem later. Now let's go deeper, because those 5 words are not a magic spell. You still need to know when to use them, how to use them, and what not to do right after. First, use them early. Not after 10 minutes of explaining, not after you've guessed your way questioning turns toward possible criminal liability, especially when guns are involved. If an officer asks where the gun came from, who owns it, why it's there, whether it was loaded, whether you knew a certain law, or whether you were carrying it for protection, that is not small talk. That is evidence-building territory. Second, say the words clearly. Not angry, not sarcastic, not under your breath. You want calm, simple, direct language. Officer, I want a lawyer now. That's strong. That's respectful. That's hard to misunderstand. Third, stop talking after that. This is the part people blow. They say, I want a lawyer now, but let me explain one thing. No, don't do that. The moment you keep talking, you start undoing the protection you just tried to build. Asking for a lawyer and then jumping back into the conversation is like locking your front door and leaving the windows open. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Let's say you're driving home from the range. Your pistol is in a case. There's ammo in the car too. An officer stops you for a broken taillight. Then comes the question, do you have any guns in the vehicle? Depending on your state, you may have specific duties here, and that matters. But once the questions move beyond required notice and basic identification, you need to slow down. If the officer starts asking, why is the magazine loaded? Or were you carrying this earlier? Or is this gun registered to you? That is the danger zone. That is where people start making harmless facts sound suspicious. But here's the crazy part. Even completely legal gun owners can talk themselves into charges that were not obvious at first. Why? Because law is detail heavy. Transport rules, carry rules, prohibited places, who owns the gun, who can access it, whether another person in the car is barred from possession, whether state lines were crossed, whether a permit is valid in that state. Most people do not know all those rules in real time, under stress, with flashing lights in their mirror. That is exactly why you do not act like your own roadside lawyer. Now, quick legal note, this is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. I want to hit one myth right here. A lot of people believe, if I'm innocent, I should just answer everything. That sounds good, it sounds moral, it sounds simple, but innocent people can still misunderstand questions, misremember times, or say things that sound different than they meant. Innocence does not protect you from bad wording. Innocence does not protect you from a bad report. Innocence does not protect you from legal costs. Have you ever wondered why defense lawyers almost never say, just tell the police your side right now? This is why. Because the time to explain is usually after the facts are reviewed, after the law is checked, and after your lawyer helps you avoid stepping on a legal landmine. And let me add one more thing. If police are asking about guns at your home, the same danger applies. People get nervous on their own porch. They think, if I refuse to talk, they'll get mad. Maybe. But being polite is not the same as surrendering your rights. You can be calm and still protect yourself. You can say, I want a lawyer now, and then stop answering questions. That is not rude. That is smart. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the people who stay ahead of legal trouble by getting these updates first. Click subscribe because the rules that matter most are usually the ones you hear about too late. Now let me show you what most people get wrong after they say the 5 words. Mistake number 1, they keep chatting to fill the silence. Silence feels awkward, I get it. But awkward is cheap. Criminal defense is expensive. After you ask for a lawyer, do not try to smooth things over by talking. Do not start telling your life story. Do not explain where you bought the gun, why you carry, how careful you are, or how you support law enforcement. None of that helps in that moment. Mistake number 2, they try to sound clever. They say things like, am I being detained? Every 10 seconds. Or they start quoting stuff they half remember from the internet. That usually makes the stop worse, not better. You do not need a movie speech. You need discipline, calm body, calm voice, clear words. Mistake number 3, They confuse refusing consent with refusing commands. These are not the same. If an officer gives a lawful order for safety, comply. If you're told to keep your hands visible, do it. If you're told to step out of the car, do it. If you're told not to touch the firearm, obviously, do not touch it. But compliance with safety commands does not mean you must answer every question. That line matters more than people realize. Let me break this down for you with another hypothetical example. Say an officer asks, "Whose gun is this?" And two people are in the car. One says, "It's not mine." The other says, "Well, it's kind of mine, but I bought it for somebody else." That one sentence may create a whole chain of legal issues: straw purchase concerns, possession concerns, ownership concerns. None of that needed to be discussed right there on the roadside. This is the part that shocked me when I first started studying these cases years ago. People often think the danger comes from lying. Of course, lying is bad. Never lie to police. But a huge amount of damage comes from talking too much while trying to tell the truth. Too much truth, in the wrong order, without legal guidance, can still wreck your case. That's why the 5 words are so powerful. They are simple enough to remember under stress. They are direct enough to be understood. And they do one important thing: they stop you from becoming the star witness against yourself. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, but what if the officer says, "If you have nothing to hide, just answer my question"? That line works on people because nobody wants to seem difficult. But your rights are not only for guilty people. Rights exist because pressure works. Pressure makes people talk. Pressure makes people guess. Pressure makes people give away things they can never take back. Here's the truth. You can be respectful and still decline to answer questions. You can be calm and still ask for counsel. You can be law-abiding and still protect yourself from a bad misunderstanding. And please remember this: gun laws are not the same everywhere. Some states have duty to inform rules for concealed carry. Some do not. Some states treat vehicle transport differently. Federal law can also matter in certain situations. So do not leave this video thinking one sentence solves every legal problem. It does not. What it does do is keep you from making the problem worse with unnecessary statements. But wait, there's something even more important. These 5 words are not just about winning some legal chess match. They are about buying time. Time to breathe. Time for the facts to settle. Time for a lawyer to look at what actually happened before you speak in a way that can follow you for years. This information could literally become more important as laws keep changing from state to state. Subscribe now because the next video breaks down the exact mistakes to avoid before one bad traffic stop turns into a nightmare. So here's the takeaway. If police ask about guns, do not argue, do not ramble, and do not try to talk your way out of danger. Stay calm, follow lawful commands, and remember the 5 words. I want a lawyer now. Those 5 words will not fix every problem, but they can stop you from making the biggest one, which is giving away your case with your own mouth. If this helped you, subscribe right now and share this with someone who carries, hunts, shoots, or keeps a firearm in the car. One video at the right time can save someone from a life-changing mistake. And remember, this is general educational content, not personal legal advice. For your exact situation, talk to a licensed attorney in your state.